gentleman has expired.
Thank you.
Ms. Meng?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Attorney General Garland, for your service to this country and for your leadership, especially in the last few years in helping our country from protecting our country from violent crime and especially hate crimes over the last several years. I know that public safety is on top of the mind for all of us on both sides of the aisle. We talked a little bit about threats of drug trafficking, human trafficking, and other types of serious crimes, and wanted to know if the Republicans' proposed cuts of 22% to 2022 levels were enacted, how would that affect public safety in this country?
Well, I don't know who's proposing the cut, but we were asked to by a member of the larger Appropriations Committee to evaluate the consequences of a 22% cut, and the consequences would be devastating to public safety. They would make it enormous cuts in the parts of the Justice Department, from our law enforcement agencies to our grant-making agencies, all of which are used for the purpose of improving public safety, and it would devastate all those programs.
If a 22% cut was enacted, would it impact our ability to maintain and hire cops?
Yes, so we don't do the actual hiring of...
Or grants for hiring
Yeah,
cops?
if you mean by cops at state and local, yeah. Yes, it would dramatically. The COPS program itself estimates 300 to 400 fewer federally law enforcement funded COPS positions would be available, be a reduction of $50 million in the COPS hiring program.
So cuts to these grants could lead to smaller police forces across the country.
Yes, and of course it isn't only the OJP, the COPS grants that provide money for state and local police, the Burn JAG and are administered by the Office of Justice Programs, and others within that also provide funding for local governments, and those would be cut as well. So yes, there would be a reduction in the ability of state and local police to hire.
And specifically on hate crimes, if cuts were enacted, how restrained would your department be in supporting our community-based organizations and combating hate crimes?
I don't think we have a. I don't think I have a specific breakdown with respect to that, but I think that there would have to be a cuts in all of the money that we have provided for hate crime. This includes the money that Congress provided in the No Hate Act, as well as the money that's used by the Civil Rights Division and the FBI to investigate hate crimes. We, in our current budget request, we've asked for $43 million in OJP funds, which include the Jabara Hire No Hate Act grants. And if you take 22% off of that, you see what the consequence would be. And likewise, $13.2 million for the Civil Rights Division. These are additions, but the total is $28.3 million, so we'd have to slash that. And the same with the FBI's Civil Rights Investigation Division. So in every respect, our ability to respond to hate crimes, regardless of who the hate is aimed at, any crime in that regard, we would have more difficulty investigating and prosecuting.
And lastly, if there were proposed 22% cuts, how would this impact our fight against both terrorism and drug enforcement efforts in this country?
Yeah, so most of the fight on terrorism is FBI and the National Security Division of the Justice Department. The FBI overall predicts a loss of 11,000 positions at the FBI and a loss of $1 billion of non-personnel costs. It's going to have a dramatic effect on our national security apparatus. And with respect to drugs, the DEA predicts a $620 million reduction in base resources. So all the money that we're asking for in increases would go away, and there would be that amount of a cut. And it would just make it would make our efforts to fight the cartels, to fight, to prevent fentanyl from coming into the community, to get it out of the community, it would devastate that.
Thank you. I yield back.
Mr. Elsey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you,